my mixed media channel here on YouTube, and I would just want to welcome you here. I'm an artist and an author of a whole slew of art books, and today I want to talk to you about the magic secret powers of using acrylics in your mixed media projects. If you're a mixed media beginner, you might not know all the amazing things that acrylic paints can do for you as an advantage to your mixed media projects. And if you are like a veteran of a million mixed media art projects, you might benefit from this video too, because there might be things in here that you had forgotten. So you can use this video to inspire you on your next project for sure. So one of the biggest complaints I get from my students is like, Karen, why is it that my watercolors don't sit still? And how do you keep things from moving around and activating? Because, you know, mixed media is like filled with collage and ephemera and adhesives and sealants and all the things. And people struggle with things moving all the time. So the first thing I always say to them is use acrylics. If you use acrylics, you actually prevent like a million bad things from going wrong in your projects. So I want to take that a step further today though, and show you why acrylics are my go-to and all the amazing capabilities that they can do for you to make you really insanely awesome mixed media art projects. Okay, so the first thing that you need to understand about acrylics, which is like everything, is that they dry to a plastic, non-porous surface. So why does that matter? It matters because it's amazing for layering because it locks in place and it doesn't move. And why that's particularly relevant to mixed media artists is that you can use it in any layer of your entire project. So you know mixed media is all about like chucking all the things at your project at one time. So if you're putting things into your project that are water soluble, meaning when you add water or liquid, it moves around, you're running into trouble really quick. So you don't get that when you do acrylics. But specifically, we'll talk more about that, but specifically how it's great is that I like to start off my mixed media projects with collage. And I know this is a very common practice for mixed media artists, and I am the same way. But the cool thing about acrylics is that you're not limited to where and when you put the collage on. So take this, for example. In this project, she's actually the cover for my mixed media magic book. I actually spray painted acrylics, spray paint. We're going to talk about forms also in this video, but we spray painted the acrylics on first, okay? Then we put the collage on top. Then we put more acrylics on top of the garage, So as you can see, there's like a sandwich order of layering. And because we're doing acrylics, we can do the collage layer wherever you want to. So if you're familiar with my hamburger system, I did a whole series here on YouTube, and you can actually go to YouTube and look up Campbell hamburger system. I'll also put a link in the description box, and I'll put an eye in the corner of the screen so you can watch those. But in that one, my hamburger layering system, which just refers to my favorite way that I layer my materials, the collage always starts first. But you should know that you don't have to start with the collage if you're using acrylics. So this is a perfect example of when I actually doing acrylics first and then putting collage on top of it. Her face is actually, it's actually tissue paper. You see all this was like a skin tone. It was actually trash. It was actually a piece of trash I pulled out of the garbage, but this was tissue paper that was used in a packaging for a package. And it has these fonts on it, but I put this on top of, again, the spray painted acrylic background. And then this is skin tone on top. Okay, that's liquid fluid acrylics right on top. So because of that, again, you're able to, you can mix and match your layers and have no worries. You can put it in any order, and that's huge when you're a mixed media artist, because again, if you're using watercolors and you try to put a collage on top and then you use a sealant to get to like matte medium to make it adhere, it's gonna run like crazy and you're gonna get really bad results and you're gonna be really upset. Trust me, I get notes about this from my students all the time. So if you just choose acrylics over watercolors when you're working with collage, zero problems. Which brings me to my next point. This is my buddy Bob. Now Bob uses oils, okay? And oils are very tricky because you can't layer them all with other products. If you're coupling, because I get this question a lot too, if you're coupling oils, like even oil pastels with acrylics, the oils have to sit on top. They have to go in a particular order or your project will be a disaster. So again, if you're using just acrylics, you can put them anywhere you want in your layering system. Again, you can put them under and over your collage. You can have them the first layer. You can have them the last layer because they are, again, they dry to a plastic non-porous surface. You can put them as the last details. You can put them in the middle of your collage sandwich and you can start off with them. So you're not limited by the behavior of your acrylic products. However, if you do like an extended drying time, like that's one of the upsides of working with oils. If you do like that prolonged drying time so that you can get in there and blend, you can actually buy a brand of acrylics. Well, you have two options. One is Golden makes what's called an open acrylics, and they have an extended drying time. I'll show you what that tube looks like. So here is a tube of Golden open acrylics. So they have extended drying time. So if you do like a longer time so that you can blend and get oil-like qualities, you can always reach for a Golden. They also make acrylic mediums called a retarder, which you can add into your acrylic paints that will extend the drying time. They will behave like Golden's open acrylics, behave like oils, so that you can get the same behavior, similar behavior to oils, but still, again, have the total freedom to chuck them into your project wherever you want to at any time. So now we're gonna switch gears and go to demo time. So in terms of behavior of acrylic paints, I just want to give you a quick demo to just refresh your memory if you're old to this, and to introduce you to these in case you're new to this, of the different qualities that you can get with acrylics this is not available for watercolors or for oil-based paints. This is unique to acrylics. And there's like a huge world out there of possibilities. So hopefully this will open your eyes to the magic of acrylic paints and why they are my go-to hands down. So if you are looking for something chunky wonky, say you like knife painting or you want to try knife painting, you can get what's called heavy bodied paint, or depends on the brand. Matisse is an Australian brand. So everything over there obviously is cooler. So they call their structure, but that just means it's heavy body. That means it has a little meat to it. It means if you run, it will dry. It has a little, it's literally body, heavy body. So it's a little chunkier. It keeps its form. You can do some awesome knife painting effects with this, okay? And it's a thick, beautiful, opaque. Now these have a little bit of a sheen to that, so you can know that going in as well. But let me just show you right now, you have a lot of different options when it comes to the characteristics of your acrylic paints. So if you're going for something specific, just keep in mind that you have so many options. All right, so those are heavy bodies in just a tube. They have heavy bodied paints. Check this out. So this is almost like puffy paint, okay? So don't limit yourself to just things that come in a tube. This is an awesome example. This is by Sennelier, I can't say that, but this is a heavy body paint that comes in this little squirt bottle. How amazing is that? So you can do 3D effects because it's heavy body. Again, it holds its form, it stays, it's like puffy paint for kids, except this is a fine art product that's light fast, that's not moving around, that will be on your projects, for life. So how cool is that? So it's like adult characteristics with childlike play. So say you don't want something like heavy body, or let's say you do want something that's heavy body, but you don't want to go out and buy a whole new thing of paint. That's okay, because acrylics come with their very own collection of mediums that you can always mix in with your paints to give them the properties that you want. We're going to get to mediums in a second, but I want to stay on this for just a minute. So before we're creating the paints that we want, I just want to open your eyes to the opportunity of just show you what there is and the characteristics of the paint you can buy right off the shelves. So I talked about open acrylics again. So these are the longer drying ones. So Typical acrylics dry very, very quickly, like in a matter of minutes. I like to use a hair dryer so they dry really, really fast, but these will give you extended drying time again so you can work and blend a little bit longer. You also need to realize too, and that's also a regular body paint. So a regular body paint is just one, and every brand is kind of, they're different, but normally they're just a nice creamy blend. Here's basics. And of course, there's different stages of paints as well. So if you don't have a big budget, you can just do a student grade, or basics are a fantastic value. They come in a ton of fun colors. Flow is a little bit thinner. Flow for Matisse is like soft body. They call it soft body for Golden and Liquitex. And this is just a little bit creamier, and it's a little bit thinner as well. So it's really nice because you can get different strokes depending on what kind of projects you do, but it's not runny, right? It has body, but it's great for brush work. It's not awesome for knife painting because it doesn't have enough body to it, but it's kind of like your all-around general purpose paint. You can also go paints that's regular body that come like cool, like iridescent, like Arteza makes these really fun iridescent paints, which need to be shaken, I should add. Okay, so these are regular body paints, but they have this like beautiful sheen to them that you can get right out of the bottle. And those are so fun, so fun. So consider if you want to get fancy. Again, a lot of people like stir things in, but sometimes like I'm a little bit lazy. I like to just open the paint can and know exactly what I'm going to get coming out. So you can get paints like that. If you want something that's thinner, a lot of people add water, but water is not, paints when they come to you from the store are already like in the perfect, they're in the perfect chemistry solution. They have the perfect amount of binder and pigment and ingredients in them, so you shouldn't be adding water to your paints at all. Like I don't even wet my brushes before I use them. I just go right to my canvas. So if you want a thinned out paint, you have two options. You can one, mix it with a medium, and again, I'm gonna get to mediums in a minute. Or what you can do again is the acrylics come in variations of thinness and thicknesses. So we had the heavy bodies, we had the regular, and then they also come in varying degrees. So Golden has fluid acrylics. They have many stages. So fluid acrylics are like, again, well, they're beautiful because they're already perfectly thinned out for you. So these are thinner than regular acrylics. They're also not as opaque. But if you want to get like a thinner wash or a transparent look, you can grab those. If you want something thinner, say you want to create a watercolor-like effect into your project, I don't recommend using watercolors. Again, because they don't fix when they're dry, and with mixed media projects, you're always adding and adding and adding. And if you create something beautiful, the worst thing that can happen is it moves around when you add a subsequent layer. Oh, I just squirted this out. So this is called high flow acrylics. Again, are specifically formulated to have all the correct properties of paint, meaning you're not going to compromise. Its qualities haven't been compromised because they're specifically formulated to have the perfect amounts of pigments and binders in them. So you don't need water, but this will create a watercolor look, but with the same amazing permanent qualities that acrylic paints have. So highly recommend the high flow acrylics, and they come in a beautiful range. Now, if that's not even thin enough and you want to get drippy time because, hey, this is mixed media art and it's like the funnest when it's the messiest, you can buy acrylic inks, which is the thinnest even still. So you have like 5 or 6 gradations of. So if you like to do this in your art journal, right, when you're squirting and playing, I mean, that's like the best. Rather than watering your paints down, which a lot of people do, which is not good. You don't want to be adding water. You want to be adding the right ingredients so that your paints last and they behave the way that acrylics do, but mostly just because it's like, again, these are specifically formulated to have these characteristics. You're also not diluting the color. When you add water, you're washing out all the pigments in it, so you're like diluting it. So rather than doing that, you can keep all the properties of the paint and just have it nice and fluid, and it can be cascading down your paper. You can put them in fountain pens, depending on which one. And then also, like manufacturers like Liquitex even took it to the next step. They said, hey, let's take our liquid ink and put it in a big fat marker. I mean, come on. So rather than you, again, having to go out and dilute your paints with water, you can get like stunning effects right out the gate. And you can know exactly, like, this color won't be diluted. It's not mixed with water. So you can make amazing effects. You can paint with these suckers. So like everything and every kind of effect you want to create is available for you in acrylic form. So don't even reach for your watercolors. You don't need to. And then finally, and I just discovered this, there's even other things like, and some of these have a glossy finish. Again, we talked heavy body, we talked regular flow, we talked the fluid, high flow, inks. There's even, this is sort of a relatively new product, is acrylic gouache. And this is a very, very matte paint. I just learned about these. Well, I've known about them, but I learned more specifically about the characteristics of these from my good friend Lucy Bryden. I just did a big interview with her this week, and she told me all about acrylic gouache. So gouache, you might be familiar with, is watercolors that are opaque, and acrylic gouache is has the same characteristics of gouache in that they're super matte and flat when they dry. Look at this fun applicator tip. How fun is that? However, because they're acrylics and not regular gouache, they are permanent when they dry. So if you love and enjoy gouache, if you're a watercolor artist and you're frustrated because you want to use gouache, but you don't want it to reactivate when you're doing all your layers of collage because you are a mixed media artist, you can grab this new product, okay, new to me, acrylic gouache product, and you can still have your cake and eat it too. So nice, matte, flat, almost like craft paint, but in much higher quality. These are excellent light fast. You know, these are artist quality paints, whereas craft paint, not so much. So that's really, really exciting. All right, so the next secret power I would like to unlock is all the mediums that are available to you that can help create these same characteristics of your paints without having to go and buy all the separate different kinds of paint. So let me show you some basic ones. So part of the magic of the acrylics family, if you will, is that there are available to you dozens of products that you can add to your acrylics to make them behave in different ways. Now, there's none of this in the world of watercolors. There's like none of this in the world of oils. I mean, there's probably one or two products for each one, but the world of acrylics is really like, you can deep dive into this and do an amazing array of things to change the qualities of your paints in new and fun and exciting ways. And then at the end of the day, no matter what you add, again, when it dries, it's permanent, it's locked in, you have the look that you want. It's so exciting. So if you want to, now all of these, it's really confusing because these are all called mediums, and that like threw me for a loop for a long time, and I didn't understand what the heck they were. But basically, these are all specifically formulated, and there's like a million more than just these. Just grabbed the ones that were closest to me in my art room. But these are all specifically formulated to be able to use right in, mix right in with your paints. Sometimes there's a ratio, just you need to read the side. It'll give you what the ratio is, like can thin by adding up to 25% water, or there's usually like this, do not mix with oils, and it will tell you the behavior increases the volume of paint while maintaining the opacity. So you just need to read on the side all the different things, but check out all the different things that you can do. So say you have no money and you don't want to, you want to try this gouache, but you don't have any money, but you want that matte look. I shouldn't say you don't have any money because you have to go buy this, but say you want to transform all your paints into a matte look, right? You can, instead of going out and buying a whole set of acrylic gouaches, you can actually buy one bottle of this and add it to all your paints to get the same look. So this is ultra matte medium. So if you mix this in with your acrylics, whatever ratio, and you can mess around with it, do 50-50, whatever, it'll transform your glossy paints into matte paints, and then poof, you have that gouache look. Say you want to thin down your paints, right? You're like, oh man, I want to do like that marker thing, but I don't want to go buy a whole paint marker. What can you do? Say you have all your favorite colors in all your paints already, but they're all heavy body. And you're like, darn it, I wish I had these colors, but I wanted to make speckles in my art journal. You can take something like airbrush medium. You hear that? It literally will liquefy your paints without compromising the quality, the light fast, any of its characteristics. And again, you can just read. It'll tell you all about it. So you can know directions. Mix 1 with golden fluid acrylics. Okay, but you can use it with any acrylics. Any medium you can mix with any acrylic. So that will make, you can hear the liquid in there, anything like runny and become sort of like an acrylic ink. Okay, and then there's also, this was the retarder that I was talking about. If you want your acrylics to behave like oils, you can add a retarder and that will lengthen the drying time so you can blend for days. Say you want something that's like oopy and goopy and like something, you can take a palette knife and drizzle and get super gooey creative. You can mix your paints with clear tar gel. Like it's this, and it's super glossy and it creates this really fun gluey wooey thing that you can paint all over. I've made a really cool poppy acrylic painting with this, and then again when it dries, it's perfectly permanent and shiny, and it's almost like liquidy puffy paint. It's so fun. Here's an acrylic glazing liquid that acts very similarly to the airbrush medium. It's a little bit thicker. This is really, really thin. This is a little bit thicker. So if you go to the store and you're checking these out, just make sure you shake things, you read the sides. They all will have the characteristics. Golden and Liquitex do a really fantastic job of educating you on the products on the side of their bottles so you don't use them in the wrong way. There's so many more things. You have a soft gel gloss. Maybe again, you want to transform your thin paint now into some thicker paint. Look at this deliciousness. You can stir in this gel gloss. Also, these are all, most mediums also double as adhesives. So don't feel like, oh, well, I only had to create a heavy body gloss for one painting. Now what do I do with this whole jar? You can use this straight up as glue. Like, it's a little bit magical. So the whole secret world of acrylics is that it has this powerful ability to transform any color into any form based on the characteristics of the paints that you're using. And then if that isn't enough, you can grab these products that you can mix in to create the kind of body paint that you're looking for. You also have these gloss mediums and varnishes, so you can brush on this again over your acrylics, and because they're acrylics and they're locked in and not going anywhere, you can have a beautiful sheen finish, and you can also use this as glue. What? It's like magical. Matte medium is my favorite. It's a nice thin medium. It's my favorite thing to glue tissue paper down with. But if you want to just thin up, again, if you need to thin down your heavy body paints, you just add a little bit of matte medium and you will be good to go. As far as brushes are concerned, I like a stiff bristled brush for my acrylics, and I have a whole separate video on acrylic brushes that I will put in the eye in the corner of the screen so you can refer back to that next. But just know that there are so many powerful reasons why acrylics are my go-tos and why I don't even mess around with watercolors in any of my real serious mixed media projects, because the world of acrylics, when you unlock their powers, will give you infinite possibilities and insane results. click the playlist on your screen and you can enter the word of my hamburger system and learn my favorite way to layer up your products and make stunning art projects.